up in the sky. Look, it's captivating. It's energizing. It's Eliances Heroes. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups, where our heroes in business align. Now, here's your host flying in, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right. And there is nothing more in the world that I would want to do than what I'm doing right now, especially this morning when you find out who our first hero is today. And by the way, thank you for the feedback we continue to get when I interviewed the US General Services Administration Director. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. All right, I'm going to give you a clue. She was appointed by President Trump for this position. It has to do with small businesses. Are you ready for this? We have with us the U.S. Small Business Administration Director, who is appointed by President Trump. Welcome to the show, Jovita Carranza, who could be reached at SBA.gov. I'm so honored that you are here with us today.
Thank you, David. It's really, really great to be on your show and speak to your audience. And by the way, David, I've been known as a chieftain, as a warrior, but never a hero. So I'm really honored and privileged to be on your show today.
Well, you are, because there are almost 82,000 small businesses in Arizona, and that's almost 93% of all Arizona businesses. So talk to us, because most everyone within business has heard of the SBA, but may not know really what the SBA actually does. Can you please share that?
Yes, of course. And David, 85,000 Arizona small businesses actually apply for the Paycheck Protection Program funding. And that equates to about $8 billion in liquidity to all the small businesses in Arizona. So I am really enthused and very motivated being here in Arizona and visiting with many of them. And I'm also visiting with a lot of the lenders that provided those funds. In Arizona, you have about 592,000 small businesses, which represent, about 99% of businesses in Arizona. So you can understand why I'm so excited and honored to be speaking to you, David, and all of the entrepreneurs in your audience.
What is the best way to navigate for the Paycheck Protection Program? Because we hear a lot of information. We get so many various emails and all that. We're trying to sort through and sift through all the news. But what is the route to actually take?
Yes, for the Paycheck Protection Program, David, the small business owner, whether it's a sole proprietor, an independent contractor, or a manufacturer or construction owner, they will work with their local banks. It could be a community bank, it could be a credit union, a savings and loan, or a national or global bank. But they will meet with their banker and ask about the Paycheck Protection Program. Many banks are still providing applications, although the program expired August 8th. But as you know, David, we have over $130 billion that are currently being negotiated, whether we will realize another round of PPP. So we're poised at SBA to start implementing that program once Congress and Senate agrees on how we're going to use those funds. So to stress again, for the PPP, small businesses would be accessing the funds through their banks. Now, for the economic injury disaster loan /COVID, which is another form of funding, that's a government loan. All they have to do is access SBA.gov disaster, and all the instructions on how they can apply for this particular fund is accessible in 17 different languages.
Oh, that's amazing. And at the point that we, as the general public, hear that President Trump, for example, approves that, or it gets it through and it gets approved, how long then does it usually take to then actually go into effect? How's that been in the past? How long has it actually taken to go into effect?
Well, David, that makes me chuckle a little bit, because the first rollout of PPP, they gave us 7 days to stand it up. and about 7 days to roll out the first approval. So it could take anywhere from 3 days to maybe 7 days, but because all of the infrastructure is already in place, and we've realized that 5.2 million small businesses have already accessed the PPP, which equates to over $500 billion. So we have a lot of experience in that area. So once the negotiations are received and approved and implemented, then all we have to do is flip the switch and start the funding through the banks.
And yeah, I also too want to let our listeners know in regards to your background, because I think it's important to know that you started off in the postal service and worked your way up to the highest position within the Small Business Administration. Can you just talk to us and just give us words of inspiration how people can do what you've been able to do?
David, I feel today's heroes are actually all the small businesses in the United States, the ones I've met so far in about 7 to 8 states that I've traveled at. Many of them started out their business in a garage or their kitchen, especially if they're bakers, or created some machinery in their garage with their son by their side, or it was a single parent, just like I was when I started loading trucks at UPS and worked my way up, and 30 years later became a top executive and the only Hispanic female to achieve such a level, such a senior level at a company, a logistics company. And when I meet with the small businesses and they tell me their stories, I feel so much aligned to the American dream that they're living and that I have been so fortunate to experience. So I think you're speaking to many, many, many heroes out there, David, that started out like I did from the bottom up and just applied the discipline, the values, and the principles that actually we learn at home or we learn in the military or whatever the case may be. It's the application, it's the discipline, and it's the consistency.
And we're very consistent here because you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. So make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com, because we have with us Jovita Carranza, US SBA Director. Again, she could be reached at sba.gov. We'll also have the link on our website at Eliances.com, ELIANCES.com. I'd like to wrap it up because I think it's very important too, is what kind of things would you share in regards to students that are out there that want to make their mark in the world like you have done? What are some things now, perhaps maybe, that parents who are listening now can instill in their children that they can do it, that it is possible, that you've done it, that you've learned along the way?
Well, David, that's a very key question, especially if I'm going to influence or motivate the youth, especially those that are innovating businesses as we speak. I'm very, very honored and pleased, and I highly respect President Trump, because when he put small businesses front and center and was very focused on sustaining the small business sector that represents half our GDP, he didn't specify what type of business or where, but all businesses. So consistency and recognizing capacity in a person and a market and a nation is really lessons that we can apply based on what our president and our administration has been working so hard. So hard work, focus, commitment, loyalty, trust, all of those factors play into building the character, not only of an entrepreneur, but of an American citizen. So I can't stress enough that education, which is what this president is very focused on for our Americans, education, job opportunity, upward mobility, prosperity, home ownership. I just think that when you believe in the capacity of the human being, then you can't go wrong. And so you align every resource to make sure that person is mobilized in the right direction.
Well, Jovita, We're so honored that you're here today. You're right. Hard work, focus. You help small businesses grow and be successful. That is a hero. Jovita Carranza, the 26th United States Small Business Administration Director. Remember, go to SBA.gov. This has been David Kogan with the Eliances Hero Show.